Cars for me are all about having fun. I'm sure you know that if you watch the channel, they just literally serve that sole purpose for me. And one of the first videos I ever made was about cheap cars you can buy for under £5,000. Today, we're doing the same video again, literally with 10 cars that are super fun to drive under £5,000. Let's get straight into it. Let's kick this video off with the Ford Fiesta ST, a nice little warm hatch with insane modding potential, in part thanks to its 2-litre inline-4 engine, which makes 147 brake horsepower, taking it to 60 in 7.9 seconds. Ford's original goal was to have the standard Fiesta, then a range-topping, performance-focused Fiesta RS, with the ST sitting in between the two as the fast road version of the car, but of course they didn't release the RS in the end, leaving this as the range topper. And that's not to besmirch the ST, this is a lovely little car which is known to handle incredibly well. It's a popular track car choice because of how cheap it is to modify and how good it is on track with some upgraded rubber and brake pads. You will have plenty of fun in one of these. These start around the 2k mark, with 5k getting a 2007 model with around 80,000 miles on it. Many have been thrashed by their owners and under-maintained, so there is a long list of potential issues that can come with these, but they are relatively cheap cars to work on. Next up we have a car that I drove relatively recently and should have a video coming soon, the Abarth 595 with its 1.4-litre turbocharged inline-4 engine, which makes 140 brake horsepower, taking it to 60 in 7.6 seconds. The 595 is a step up from the 500 Abarth and a fun little warm to hot hatch built to be a city car. It's an interesting car to drive because it does sound quite good inside with a lovely interior too, but because of its size it definitely feels faster than it actually is. But that kind of makes it even more fun. You have a weirdly upright seating position, kind of like a bus, and you can just bomb it around from place to place without getting to prison speeds. This is the most expensive car on the list, starting at our 5k limit, but depending on year they go all the way up to past £15,000. On reliability, these are generally pretty good, mostly build quality issues, but I will say the turning circle is also pretty bad for such a small car. In 8th we have the Mazda MX-5 Mark III or NC, which probably offers the best value for money MX-5 right now, with its 2-litre inline-4 engine producing 157 brake horsepower, taking it to 60 in 7.6 seconds. The MX-5 embodies what driving enjoyment is for me. I was entirely uninterested in them until you guys made me buy one back in 2019, and now I understand. The low weight, low power, exceptional weight distribution and simplicity just makes you feel like a hero when you drive them. They handle so well in fact that the Mark III remains a popular car for race series around the world, including a race series I'd like to enter next year. If you'd like to see some MX-5 racing content, make sure you smash the like button on this vid and go check out the merch store, as the proceeds will go towards making that a reality. These will run you around £2,000 at the bottom end, with 5k getting a 2007 model with 50,000 miles on it. Reliability on these is great, but watch for rust. Taking 7th on the list we have the mini Hatch JCW from the R36 generation, which comes with a 1.6-litre turbocharged inline-4 engine, making 208 brake horsepower, which should get to 60 in 6.5 seconds. Similar to the MX-5, the mini hatch has been named a go-kart for the road, and if you're a track day enthusiast, you'll likely have seen a bunch of R36s out on track. They have a massive aftermarket and can be properly fun on track, even with just a few small modifications. But irrespective, they are a good-looking version of the mini hatch and would work well as a daily too. The boot is quite small but good enough for a grocery shop, and with the rear seats down there's enough room for anything bigger. So it could be your perfect car to both take to track days and use as a daily, where you might struggle a bit more with the MX-5. These are listed anywhere from around £3,500, with £5,000 get you to 2009 model with 90k on it. They can be quite bad on reliability though, with plenty of engine related issues to talk about, so go in with your eyes open. The EP3 Honda Civic Type R is a fan favourite for good reason. It's great for mods, handles well off the bat, has good reliability, and is actually pretty quick for the money, which all round adds up to a very fun little package. It comes with a 2-litre inline-4 engine with VTEC, which produces 197 brake horsepower and will manage up to 60 in 6.4 seconds. In terms of fun, what's great about the VTEC engine is that it wants to rev. It benefits from being high up in the range, so for those of you that want to scream your car around a track and never upshift early, this is the car for you. Add on the JDM vibes and the short shifter that's raised above your seating position, and this is a car built for you to enjoy driving. You'll need to spend around £2,000 to get into one of these, and £5,000 will get you 2005 model, still with high mileage. That engine is well known and well loved, so looking after these is much cheaper than you might expect. So into this video, if you are, a quick reminder to hit the like button and subscribe as well if you're new here. And I've got a merch site which only came out last week. Thank you to everyone who's gone over there. The support is just insane. So there's a few bits left. If anyone wants to buy some stickers, some window stickers, some air fresheners, all this other kind of cool stuff, go check over there. It's all nice and cheap and good quality as well. On to the top 5 now, and in 5th we have the Porsche Boxster 986, specifically with the 2.7-litre flat 6 engine, which makes 220 brake horsepower, and does 0 to 60 in 6.4 seconds. I think if you're going to buy a cheap car for a European road trip with your mates, the Boxster is up there as a great choice. Taking a Porsche sports car on any road trip sounds good regardless of which model you mention. I've been a big convertible convert too over the past few years thanks to my MX-5, and the 986 is effectively Porsche's more premium answer to that car, so it would be quite fun to drive with the top down on a sunny day. When you add on the fact that this car was so important for opening the Porsche brand up to a slightly less wealthy market too, I personally really like it. These list for anywhere from around £4,000 with £5,000 getting a 2003 model with around 100,000 miles on it. IMS failure and bore scoring are the horror problems, but they were lesser known on the non-S 986s. In fourth on the list we have the only Audi S3 to be the top of its generation, from the 8LA3, which comes with a 1.8 litre inline-4 turbocharged engine which makes 221 brake horsepower, taking it to 60 in 6.4 seconds, and those viewers that know the VW Group engine codes will know this is actually the BAM engine in this car, same as cars like the Audi TT. This car actually featured in my first ever list video, and it was available for under £5,000 all the way back then, so it's crazy to think that 5 years later it still offers one of the best cheap hot hatches for the performance. That 1.8T is a very well known engine block with many clear tuning paths for those that way inclined, and with a Haldex controller the all-wheel drive can also be tinkered with to let you basically drive the car how you want it to be driven. These will run you around £2,500 at the bottom end, and £5,000 will get you a 2003 model with around 90k on it. These are quite old now though, so problems are very well known, worth going through a buyer's guide to see it all. We're onto the podium now, and in third place we have the VW Golf R32, the second generation R32 and the predecessor to many Golf Rs we've seen in generations ever since. It comes with a 3.2 litre VR6 engine which makes 246 brake horsepower, the second most on this list, which you get to 60 in 6.3 seconds, not bad at all. I think this car is starting to look better and better with age, like the Mark IV R32 that came before it. I think this will become increasingly sought after over the next 5 to 10 years, depending on what happens with fossil fuels. I personally would want to keep one as standard as possible for a while just to make sure that it benefits from those values in future, but mods can look quite good on these as well. It's got the DSG, which is always fun, and Haldex all-wheel drive too, like the S3. You'll find this is from around £4,500, and 5k will get your 2006 model still with pretty high mileage. That DSG can have issues given it's an early example of its use, and the VR6 is slightly more hassle to work on. It's hard to find an Astra VXR for any price really that hasn't been modified in some way, but that's because they make for such fast and fun cars to modify. That's thanks to its 2 litre turbocharged inline-4 engine which makes 236 brake horsepower, which you get from 0 to 60 in 6.2 seconds. The VXR is a proper hot hatch of its time, known as the OPC in other markets, with its sportier body kit, Recaro interior, 6-speed manual gearbox and 18-inch alloys. Reviewers and owners alike have praised the car's handling for being soft enough to handle day-to-day driving, but responsive enough with no body roll to make it a beast for fast B roads and track days as well. If you can step up to a Nürburgring edition, you get the extra 15 brake horsepower and some fancy stickers, but more importantly, just 835 were produced, so longer term values have done better and will probably continue to do so. These hot hatches will cost you around £3,500 at the bottom end, with 5k being enough for a 2008 model with 80,000 miles on it. Gearboxes are the main problem with these, and there are some piping problems known as well. Taking the top spot in this video is the E90 series BMW 335i, effectively the step down from the BMW M3, but the most aggressive inline-6 BMW of its generation. That's a 3 litre twin turbocharged inline-6 to be exact, putting out 301 brake horsepower, taking it to 60 in 5.3 seconds, a whole second faster than the next fastest car on the list. For your £5,000 you'll find convertibles, saloons, and if you're lucky, a coupe. So there's plenty of choice depending on what you want, but the reason why this car is so much fun is that it's ridiculously fast for the money. 5k to get that kind of performance is unthinkable, and though on release the interiors looked worse than the Audi and Mercedes equivalent, I think they've actually aged the best by a long way. The problem is, however, these were known for key problems like the high pressure fuel pump failing, injector issues and charge pipe failure. They start at around £3,500, with £5,000 getting you to the 2007 model with 80,000 miles on it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, do hit the like button and subscribe as well if you're new. Massive thanks for watching, and to the patrons for their continued support. And if you want to watch another video here on some cheap and very fast cars, then click up here and subscribe down here.